Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Zachary Dickinson here. Hope it's all been a wonderful and blessed and wonderful week overall. Sorry for missing the Wednesday video. That'll just be up next Wednesday. I just didn't get to film it. I have everything ready and it'll be out next Wednesday. And so it is now Friday. Hope the week's gone well. If it hasn't, I hope the weekend will be a wonderful and relaxing time before another week ahead of us as we begin anew after this weekend with rest and relaxation. So, today's video, we are continuing the Marvel Netflix TV shows / anime deep dives, as we have done Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. We now have The Punisher. I'm gonna be dead honest. This will probably be a shorter one just because I remember most of The Punisher season 1 and early bits of season 2. Really, it's one of the shows that I definitely will watch in the near future, just as a rewatch and a refresher. Probably the only one outside of Daredevil that I would willingly rewatch, unless one of the other Defenders gets an actual show, then I would rewatch those later. But The Punisher. First, a little bit of background. The Punisher first debuts in Daredevil season 2 as pretty much the first half main antagonist towards Daredevil, as a man is punishing or just annihilating gangs left, right, and center. They also have a trial, at which point, since the Punisher is no longer the villain, we have Elektra and the Hand taking over as the core main villains for the rest of season 2 to hype up the eventual Defenders team up limited series show that later comes out after Daredevil season 2. And so pretty much the Daredevil through the Punisher gets set up through the events of Daredevil. He is not in the Defenders. He has 2 full seasons of TV. I would argue that the 2 total seasons are at least average and are pretty much better than the 2 seasons that we get from Luke Cage and Iron Fist, just because at least the Punisher is average and they don't mess up the character all that much. Now, from from the end of Daredevil, we obviously have a little bit of a time jump, and we pretty much figure out who pretty much took down and effectively ordered what we thought was a random hit on the Punisher's family as wrong place, wrong time, and it ended up being not so much wrong place, wrong time. And so that whole storyline was amazing and great. I would pretty much say the beginning and end of season 2 is the most memorable. And after that point, it's still an overall great and wonderful season, but not as good as season 1 overall. And season 2 pretty much picks up as the Punisher, aka Frank Castle, is no longer the Punisher. He is no longer the Punisher. He is now working in construction, has a full beard, full head of hair, using construction as a way to vent his anger until a young girl tracks him down and convinces him to come back to New York for a specific job. He comes back, and by the end of season 2, he fully embraces the Punisher and his role as the Punisher to punish the gangs of New York. And all throughout that time, he pretty much has a constant ideological battle with Daredevil as Punisher, aka Punisher's main thing is I kill. Daredevil's whole ideology is fighting against the will to kill, whereas Punisher's just like, I kill because it's what's needed to be done. And Daredevil's like, well, you don't always need to kill. You don't need to kill. And so that's pretty much the best part of any time the Punisher and Daredevil / Matt Murdock are having an interaction. It's what made Daredevil season 2 as good as it was. At least it the early parts of Daredevil season 2. Now, The Punisher as a whole show, it's overall a pretty good show. Um, it is pretty much the average, or at least the middle point of all the Defender shows. I would say overall it's pretty much the middle average of all the Defender shows, just because season one is good. Season two is average to my memory at least. And so it has good and average season. So in comparison to Luke Cage and Iron Fist, who had a good or great one season and then a mid to bad second season, I would rate Punisher towards the middle. Jessica Jones has two good to great seasons, so that's better. Daredevil has three good to great slash amazing seasons, and so that's obviously better. We'll talk about Defenders next week. And so, as I said before, this is pretty much going to be a shorter video. So that is pretty much it. If you've watched all the way through or listened, however you're taking in through my videos, I thank you all for watching. Hope you like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We are posting tomorrow morning slash afternoon how my first Stephen King book experience went, and I will be reading more Stephen King in the future, pretty much towards the end of this year, and not really anytime before then. I'll be reading a bunch of other different books and a few different genres and series and stuff like that before I step back into an actual Stephen King book. But look forward to that video tomorrow. We will be doing the weekly recap or report 2, and I hope to do that every single week from this point forward. And I'm very excited to talk about how this week has been and what I look forward to in the next week. Monday, I'll be talking about every MCU group through all. So I'll be going, since Marvel has near 20 years, I'll be going through every phase, how we are at the end of the Infinity Saga, through every phase of the multiverse, how we are through there, and the potential groups we could see by the end of the multiverse saga, and overall what we should have at the very least an average of once we get a few years down the line after the multiverse saga. That's kind of the general concept as a whole right there. As I mentioned earlier, next week we will be doing the spring 2026 anime slate, and next week for Marvel Netflix TV show deep dives, for TV show anime deep dives on every Friday night, we will be doing the Defenders, which honestly will probably have the least positive comments overall of all these shows because, well, Defenders was good in action, not so good everything else. But I'm gonna stop yapping and get this uploaded for anyone who wants to watch. So please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment below something about the Punisher or just Marvel Netflix. I thank you all for watching. Goodbye. Have a great weekend, a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.